Discover the incredible life-changing moment when her billionaire husband exposed family secrets. Jenna Thompson sat on the porch of their sprawling estate, the curtains billowing gently like whispers of the past. She felt like a princess, no, a fairy tale heroine, after marrying Marcus Harrington, the man whose charm lit up every room. They danced under chandeliers, adorned in designer gowns, but she wondered how the glitz had wrapped around her heart like gilded chains. In Maplewood, where she'd grown up in a small farmhouse, she treasured simplicity and integrity. Yet here she was, up to her neck in jewels and mingling with the high and mighty. What about the people back home? Turning her gaze toward the town square, where farmers arranged sun-ripened tomatoes and children giggled, Jenna's heart ached. The community center was on the brink of closure, a space where friendships blossomed and voices united. This can't be happening, she whispered to herself, as Marcus's latest corporate move loomed over Maplewood like a thundercloud. Is profit worth more than people, Marcus? She asked him, the desperation rising in her voice. Before she could rest her case, a sudden knock shattered the tension. There stood Lila, Marcus's estranged sister, unraveled hair and wide eyes, a storm of secrets wrapped in a simple green dress. Jenna felt a jolt in her chest, a harbinger of the whirlwind approaching. Just then, the weight of community crumpled, laid bare like a fresh wound. It was clear Lila's arrival wasn't just a hiccup in their lives. It was a reckoning. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As Lila stepped inside, the air thickened with unsaid words, revealing echoes of betrayal and hidden truths. Memories danced in Jenna's mind, her childhood knees grazing against golden fields, laughter shared with family rooted in hard work. Her connection to Marcus was deeper than romantic charm. It felt intricately woven into her past, like a tapestry hiding secrets beneath its colorful threads. Jenna, Lila breathed, urgency clouding her tone. You need to understand what Marcus is really doing. As the sunlight filtered through the windows, casting stripes across the floor, Jenna felt her chest tighten. Family secrets poured forth, powerful enough to shake her world. Everything she knew collided with everything she felt. She met Marcus's gaze, searching for reassurance but found only confusion reflected back. With the town brewing its discontent over the community center's fate, Jenna found herself torn. One path led to standing by Marcus, a man she loved deeply, yet whose choices threatened her values. The other path called her home, urging her to fight for the fragile bonds that stitched Maplewood together. The unsettling silence hung like the weight of the world, demanding a response. Jenna felt her heartbeat quicken, the narrow road stretching before her. Would she stand up for her community, risking the marriage she cherished? Or would love cause her to ignore the rising storm? As she stared into the horizon, she felt the daunting pull of a decision that loomed larger than life itself. The whispers of Maplewood surrounded her, pushing her closer to a precipice. Was this the moment that would define her forever? The stakes were high, but the strength of her heart was growing louder than ever. Jenna took a deep breath, the aroma of freshly cut grass mingling in the air, somehow calming yet unsettling. She could feel the weight of Lila's words still heavy on her shoulders. What do you mean Marcus is tearing down the community center? Jenna finally managed to ask, her voice shaking slightly. She needed clarity, something solid to grasp in this swirling storm of uncertainties. Lila's eyes sparkled with a mix of anger and fear. He's planning to build that resort, Jenna. They've already started discussing it with city officials. You have to understand, this isn't just a business deal to him. It's a way to erase everything. Jenna felt the ground beneath her feet shift. All those moments spent at the community center, the laughter, the support, even the counseling sessions that helped families through hard times. Was it all going to disappear? She couldn't imagine Maplewood without it. Why would he want to do that? She pressed, searching Lila's face for answers. Because he can. He sees the town as an opportunity, a resource to exploit. It's not personal for him, but for others like us. Lila's eyes darted around the room as if she feared someone could overhear this intimate betrayal. We need to stop him before it's too late. Every rebel thought bubbled up inside Jenna. Would Marcus really do this? The man she loved? Could she challenge him without tearing apart the foundation of their life together? A chill ran down her spine, weaving itself into her thoughts. I need to talk to him, Jenna finally murmured, but dread washed over her. What could she say? How could she confront him without igniting a war between their worlds? Jenna, Lila's voice broke into a reverie. If you stay silent, it won't just be the community center that's lost. It'll be your love. It'll be your soul. You have to choose. The truth hit her like a punch in the gut. In that moment, she realized that choosing silence was as much a choice as fighting back. But Marcus wore his business suit like armor, and she feared his motive hidden behind charm. Okay, Jenna said, her own resolve blooming. I'll confront him, but only if you come with me. Lila's eyes widened. You really want to do this? Yes, Jenna answered, feeling the fire growing inside. This is not just a fight for the community. It's a fight for the heart of who I am. For us, for Maplewood. I won't stand idly by while everything I care about crumbles. Lila nodded, a hint of admiration creeping into her expression. Perhaps Jenna wasn't just a rich woman swept off her feet after all. She could feel the connection renewing, a sisterhood forged in the fires of desperation. They sat in silence, minds racing with the implications of the confrontation ahead. What kind of man was Marcus really? And what would be revealed in the moments to come? The shadows danced across the porch, darkening their surroundings as if foreshadowing what awaited them. As night fell, Jenna's heart thundered, anticipation buzzing through her veins. This was more than just a conversation. It would be a battle between love and truth, loyalty and integrity. How would Marcus react when she laid the truth before him? Jenna stood, the decision pulsating in her chest like a drum. Tomorrow she would seek the truth with every ounce of courage she had. But that truth could just as easily shatter her world as heal it. Tomorrow, she would find out how deep love could reach when it faced its greatest challenge. Morning broke over Maplewood, the sun casting golden light through Jenna's window. She tossed and turned in bed, the weight of her decision pressing down like a mountain. How would she start the conversation with Marcus? Each second felt like an eternity, the clock ticking slowly as her heart raced. Finally, she slid out of bed, the cool floor sending a shiver up her spine. Today was not just another day. It was a turning point. She got ready mechanically, her mind buzzing with fragments of thoughts. The smell of coffee beckoned from the kitchen, each sip grounding her amidst the turmoil stirring inside. She found Lila in the living room, flipping through a stack of papers filled with community center events and letters of support from local families. They wouldn't give up without a fight. Are you ready? Lila asked, her voice firm yet laced with concern. I'm not sure, but I have to do this, Jenna replied, the resolve trembling in her voice. She could still picture Marcus, his charming smile and unwavering confidence. But could he really be so callous, so dismissive of the very heart of their community? As they both gathered their things, Jenna slid a letter into her bag. A heartfelt note from a kid who'd spent countless hours at the center, thanking them for all they'd done to help. If it came down to it, she would read that letter aloud. Maybe, just maybe, it could pierce through Marcus's corporate armor. They headed to the cafe where Marcus liked to meet. Jenna's stomach churned, a mix of fear and determination swirling within. What if he brushed aside her concerns? What if he dismissed her completely as just another voice lost in the crowd? The cafe was bustling. People laughed and chatted over steaming mugs, blissfully unaware of the storm brewing in her heart. Look, there he is, Lila whispered, nudging Jenna as Marcus entered, casual yet commanding in his crisp suit. For a moment, she felt her breath hitch. The man she loved stood before her, but he was also the man threatening everything she held dear. Jenna! Lila! What a lovely surprise! He exclaimed, a broad grin lighting up his face. It was the same smile that had once melted her heart, but now it felt like an electric shock. Inviting warmth turned into a chill. "Hi, Marcus," Jenna managed, her voice steely despite the anxiety coiling around her heart. "Can we talk? It's important." The smile faltered slightly as he glanced at Lila, sensing the tension. "Sure, let's grab a table." They settled into a corner booth, and the chatter around them faded into a dull hum. Jenna's pulse quickened. Lila placed her hand over hers, a silent encouragement. "Marcus," she began, her voice steadier than she felt. "I need to talk about the community center." His brow furrowed, the shift in his demeanor palpable. "What about it? It's not just a building to us. It's a part of our lives. Families depend on it. You can't just tear it down." Each word poured out, fueled by the passion that had ignited within her. He leaned back, crossing his arms with an air of indifference. "Jenna, it's just business. You have to understand." "Just business?" she interrupted, feeling heat rising in her cheeks. "This is our home. This isn't some property to flip." Lila's eyes were wide, the tension in the air thickening like a storm cloud ready to burst. Jenna's heart raced. She could see Marcus grappling with the reality laid before him. The man she loved now, a stranger caught in a world she didn't recognize. "Jenna," he said, his voice suddenly softer. "You don't understand the potential. This town could thrive. Not at the expense of losing our history, our community?" Tears pricked at her eyes, but she refused to let them spill. "You can't erase that for profit." Silence enveloped them, thick and suffocating. Jenna held her breath, uncertainty clawing at her. This wasn't just about the center anymore. It was about what Marcus truly valued. Just as she thought he might respond, a sharp ring echoed through the cafe. Marcus reached for his phone, glancing at the caller ID. "Excuse me, it's work," he said before stepping outside, leaving Jenna and Lila in stunned silence. "What if he doesn't see what we see?" Lila whispered, a worried frown crossing her face. Jenna's heart sank. It felt like the walls were closing in. What if he doesn't care? As they sat in the now quiet cafe, Jenna wrestled with doubt. How many more barriers lay between them? What would happen when he returned? The answer felt closer than ever, but it could change everything they both knew. The air felt heavy as Jenna and Lila sat silent, the warmth of the busy cafe a stark contrast to the chill coursing through Jenna's veins. Each second dragged on like a sluggish river, and Jenna could almost hear the clock ticking, mocking her. She stared at the door where Marcus had just slipped out, her heart pounding. "What if this is it?" Lila whispered, breaking the silence. "What if he doesn't come back the same?" Jenna shook her head, the thought twisting inside her like a dagger. "I don't know if I can stand to lose him, Lila." It was the truth she hadn't said out loud yet. The love they shared, built over years, was now tangled up in this impossible decision. Fighting for the community center felt right, yet carrying the burden of potentially shattering her relationship felt like an insurmountable weight. She glanced at the table, her fingers tracing the edge of the letter tucked in her bag. "What if I read it?" Jenna said suddenly, her eyes lighting up with a flicker of hope. "The letter from the kid? It could remind him of what we're fighting for." Lila nodded eagerly. "Yes, it's a good idea, but you have to wait for the right moment. Don't let him brush it aside like before." Jenna swallowed hard, fear creeping back. Would it even work? What if Marcus listened but didn't truly hear? Moments later, Marcus stepped back inside, a strained smile plastered on his face. He slid back into the booth, his phone resting on the table. "Sorry about that," he said, rubbing the back of his neck. It was an urgent matter. "Marcus," Jenna started, meeting his gaze with determination. "I don't want to fight. I just want you to understand what this place means to us." She reached into her bag. "Wait," he interrupted, his brow furrowing again. "You're not going to throw more community stories at me, are you?" Her heart sank. "I just want you to see. Trust me, I get it. But I've got investors to consider. This isn't just about us anymore." The chill in his tone was unmistakable. Jenna clenched her jaw, the flush of frustration burning deep within. But it should be about us. We're the ones living here, facing the fallout. We'll lose everything. Everything? He scoffed, leaning in. You act like it's the end of the world. This town could explode with opportunities, Jenna. It's just a trade-off. Trade-off? She felt the tears threatening again. This is our home, our families. There are lives behind those walls, not just numbers on your balance sheets. Lila leaned forward, her voice low but fierce. Marcus, think of the kids who spend their afternoons there, the families who rely on it. It's more than just a center. It's hope for so many. He shifted uncomfortably, glancing at the busy cafe, where laughter and cheer danced around them. You both need to understand I can't just back down. Jenna took a deep breath, clutching the letter tightly, feeling its warmth seep into her palm. But what if I read this? What if his words of gratitude remind you? Help you see? Marcus hesitated, his confident facade cracking just slightly. What is it? Summoning her strength, Jenna pulled out the letter and unfolded it. With steady hands she began to read, her voice breaking the noise of the cafe and casting a blanket of quiet over their corner. The words poured out, pure and heartfelt, painting a picture of joy and belonging. As she finished reading, she looked up, breathless, only to find Marcus staring at her intently. There was a flicker in his eyes, something almost vulnerable. Jenna held her breath, hoping against hope that maybe, just maybe, he would finally understand. But as that small flame of hope ignited in her chest, hope was quickly snuffed out by the look of conflict brewing in his gaze. I need to think, he murmured, staring at the floor as if it held the answers. Think? Jenna repeated, her stomach dropping. You can't just leave it like that. I need air, Marcus replied, his voice strained. He stood abruptly, his chair scraping against the floor. Before Jenna could say anything more, he was gone again, leaving her heart pounding wildly. Did I push too hard? She whispered to Lila, a hot rush of panic flooding her. No, Lila replied softly. You fought for what mattered. The rest is up to him now. But as Jenna looked at the empty space where Marcus had just been, a new doubt gripped her heart. What if he didn't come back? What if he decided this was too much? Her voice trembled as she murmured, What if I lose him? The stakes had risen, and as doubt crept back in, the question loomed larger. Could love truly survive this? Jenna felt frozen in place, her heart echoing in the empty cafe around her. The laughter that had once wrapped her in warmth now felt like an unwelcome reminder of everything she was about to lose. Lila's reassuring squeeze was faint, almost lost amidst the chaos of her thoughts. Jenna wanted to believe Lila was right, that pushing for the community center was worth the risk, but Marcus's retreat weighed heavily on her. What if he doesn't come back? Jenna whispered again, the doubt clawing at her gut. The cafe had felt so lively moments ago, but now the familiar sounds felt distant, muffled by the turmoil swelling within her. You've done everything you can, Lila said, her tone firm but gentle. He's a good person, Jenna. He'll think it through. Just give him time. Time. The word felt like a ticking clock, counting down to a moment she felt too fragile to face. Jenna looked back at the door, willing Marcus to walk through it again, but nothing changed. I can't just sit here, she said suddenly, the decision surging within her. I'm going to find him. Lila's eyes widened. Jenna, maybe that's not... I need to talk to him, Jenna insisted, her voice rising a notch. I can't let him walk away. With one last breath of determination, Jenna slid out of the booth and made her way out of the cafe. The brisk air hit her like ice water, snapping her out of her spiral. She scanned the street for any sign of Marcus, her heart racing as her mind replayed the moments they had shared, the laughter, the dreams, the hope. After a few moments that felt like eternity, she spotted him across the street, his back turned as he leaned against a lamppost, phone in hand. A flood of relief washed over her, but it was quickly clouded by uncertainty. What if this moment spiraled into an even bigger argument? Gathering her courage, she stepped off the curb and crossed the street, calling out, Marcus! Wait! He turned slowly, an expression of surprise crossing his face. Jenna? What are you doing here? I needed to talk to you. She approached cautiously, wanting to both bridge the gap and touch the emotional chasm that had widened between them. I didn't mean to push you away. Then why did you? His voice was softer than before, but there was still an edge to it, like he was struggling with something deep inside. Jenna's breath hitched. Because this matters, Marcus. More than just us. More than your investors. It's about the kids, the families. She paused, her voice trembling. It's about hope. I need you to see that. He crossed his arms, eyebrows knitting together. And what if I don't? What if the investors don't see it that way? Her heart squeezed painfully. You're bigger than them. You're someone who can change everything, who can help this community. Don't let them dictate what you value. Marcus looked away, his jaw tightening. I'm trying to make the hard decisions here, Jenna. This time, it was Jenna who stepped closer. And I'm asking you to consider what those decisions mean. For us. For everyone. She pulled the letter from her pocket again, but hesitated. Would it help or hurt? Just read it, he urged, a rawness in his voice. No. No. This is more than just words, Marcus. It needs to be you, deciding for yourself. His gaze pierced hers, and in that moment, everything felt like it was hanging by a thread. The love they had, the dreams built, the future uncertain. What if I can't make that call? He whispered, vulnerability flickering in his hazel eyes. The question stung. What if she lost him to doubts about what was right? You've always been decisive, Marcus. You have a good heart. Just trust it. But as Marcus straightened, his expression hardening, Jenna's stomach twisted with dread. What was about to happen? Would love, would hope, stand the test of this turmoil? The air was thick with tension, and Jenna felt the weight of the moment pressing down. The stakes were high and the outcome uncertain. One choice could change everything, but would he have the courage to make it? Jenna, Marcus started, drawing a deep breath. What he would say next could fend off her fears or plunge them deeper into darkness. She braced herself, heart racing, clinging to the belief that they could emerge stronger together, or fall apart completely. What would he choose? Jenna, Marcus started, drawing a deep breath. His words hung in the air, heavy with a weight they both felt. This was the moment. Her heart thudded in her chest, and all she could do was hope his next words would reassure her. Instead, he fell silent, his uncertainty palpable. Marcus, she urged softly, stepping even closer. Please, just talk to me. Honesty is all we have right now. He looked at her then, really looked at her, and something in his eyes shifted. It was a flicker of understanding, mixed with fear. You don't get it, do you? His voice was taut, like a strung bow. This isn't just about us. If I make the wrong choice, I could let down everyone who believes in me. I could lose everything. Jenna shook her head, feeling the tears prick at her eyes. But what about what we believe in? You promised me we'd build something together. A future. It's not just a promise anymore. He took a step back, raking a hand through his hair in frustration. It's a business now. It's money. It's investors who will walk away if I make one misstep. Something cracked within her. And what about the lives we're trying to change? The kids who need us? This isn't about numbers, Marcus. It's about people. He swallowed hard, the tension sharpening his features. I know that. But you're asking me to gamble everything we've built. What if the community center fails? What if I can't make it work? Then we try again. You're not in this alone. You have me. Her voice trembled, but there was strength beneath it. You always talk about believing in change. Why won't you trust in your own ability to create it? Because believing in change doesn't pay the bills, Jenna. His voice rose, echoing down the empty street. And I can't let my heart dictate what's right when the stakes are this high. His words hit her like a thunderous clap. It hurt more than she anticipated, the chasm between them widening into an abyss. What happened to the Marcus who fought for what he believed in, The one who stood up to his own past? That struck a nerve. She saw his eyes flash suddenly with a mix of anger and vulnerability. You think I don't want to? You have no idea how hard it is for me to let go of everything I'm used to, how terrified I am of failing again. Jenna took a breath, her voice softening. Then let me help you. Let's take that risk together. Silence swept in, enveloping them like a blanket. For a moment it felt like time froze. He was staring at her, his gaze searching for something. What was it? Trust? Comfort? Finally he spoke, his voice quieter. What if it all goes wrong, Jenna? What if I'm not as strong as you think I am? The desperation in his eyes tugged at her heart. Then we'll figure it out. We've faced hard things before. It's not about being strong all the time, Marcus. It's about being brave enough to act. We can't wait for the perfect moment. He grimaced, the decisive glimmer still absent in his demeanor. You make it sound easy. But what am I supposed to do? Just jump without a parachute? Jenna felt the tears cascade down her cheeks. We'll build our parachute together. I believe in us, but I can't do it alone. I need you to believe in it too. That flicker in his eyes returned, but he still hesitated. I don't know if I can. Marcus, please. The emotion sliced through her, raw and desperate. For the kids, for us, don't let fear win this time. He looked down, as if weighing all he had, all he was. What if I choose wrong? What if I lose everything? Her heart raced. What if you choose right? What if we gain everything? He raised his eyes to her, uncertainty still woven through his expression, but now there was a hint of something else. A spark, maybe. A seed of possibility. As he opened his mouth to respond, the distant sound of a train whistle pierced the air, echoing their uncertainty. But before he could speak, Jenna felt the weight of the moment shift yet again. Marcus, what will you decide? Can we take this leap together? The question lingered, heavy and fragile, as the world around them faded into white noise, leaving just the two of them standing at a precipice of choice. Would they jump, or would they let fear keep them grounded forever? The answer loomed, and yet it felt like the beginning of an even bigger journey ahead. Would love lead the way, or would it crumble beneath the pressure? The chilled air wrapped around them, but Jenna felt a warmth rising within. She searched Marcus's eyes, desperate to ignite the spark that could light them both. His lips pressed together, as if fighting a torrent of conflicting emotions. Jenna, he finally said, voice barely above a whisper. I'm scared. What if I let you down? Showing up is half the battle, Marcus. Every time I see you stand up for what matters, I believe in us more. His expression softened, but shadows still clung to the edges of his resolve. What if I don't know how to fight this battle? Then we figure it out together. Her heart thumped heavily in her chest, each pulse ringing with fierce hope. You taught me to believe in change. Now it's your turn to believe in yourself. His gaze drifted down the street, an expanse of darkness broken only by the golden glow of streetlights. I feel the weight of all those expectations. It's like a boulder on my chest. What if we think of it less as a burden and more as motivation? Each kid we help, each smile we create, that's a step towards something greater, she encouraged, reaching out to grasp his hand tightly. He closed his eyes briefly, allowing her warmth to seep into his doubts. Then he broke the silence. I don't want to be afraid anymore. The tension in Jenna's chest eased slightly. Then let's make a pact. We back each other up. We choose courage over fear every single time. I wish I had your strength, he murmured, opening his eyes. Maybe you don't see it, but it's there. You're stronger than this. Jenna squeezed his hand, feeling the pulse of determination. You have a whole community counting on you, and I'm right here with you. A train rumbled in the distance, reminding them of the journey ahead. The noise mixed with the racing of their hearts, filling the gap that fear had left behind. I won't be perfect, he said slowly, testing out the words. I might trip along the way, Jenna smiled, a mixture of relief and determination flooding her. That's okay. You just need to keep getting up. We both do. For the first time, he nodded, a flicker of confidence breaking through his hesitations. So, what do we do then? First, we need to make a plan, Jenna suggested, feeling a rush of excitement. Let's lay out our vision, the goals we want to hit. We could draft something for the investors to show them how serious we are. And for the kids? He raised an eyebrow, now visibly interested. We build a program they can rely on. Workshops, mentorships, art classes. It's all about giving them spaces to grow. He stared at her, considering the possibilities. You really believe we can do this? Absolutely, she affirmed, her spirit soaring as she envisioned their future. The world is full of possibilities waiting for us to chase them together. Marcus took a deep breath, nodding slowly. Okay. I'm in. Let's do this. Together. In that moment, they stepped away from the edge of fear, turning towards a horizon filled with hope. The night felt a little less imposing. They were no longer alone in the dark. As excitement bubbled between them, Jenna's phone buzzed in her pocket. She pulled it out, her heart sinking slightly when she saw the name flashing on the screen. Her father. Glancing up at Marcus, she saw his brows furrowed in concern. Do you want me to answer it? He asked gently, sensing her hesitation. She took a moment to gather herself, the unresolved tension pulling at her insides. Would this call bring them closer to their goals? Or drag them back into old burdens? Maybe I should. She looked down at the phone in her hand, wondering what secrets it might unveil. And with that, a new fear flickered into existence, just as old ones began to fade. Taking a deep breath, Jenna swiped her finger across the screen, heart racing as she hit accept. The familiar voice on the other end was both reassuring and exhausting. Jenna, we need to talk. Dad, She was about to explain, to tell him she was busy planning something important, something she believed would change lives, but he cut her off. Your mother isn't well. She wants to see you. Can you come home? Jenna's mind spun. Home. The place she had tried so hard to break away from. A weight settled on her chest, dark and suffocating. Okay, she finally replied, trying to keep her voice steady. Good. I'll expect you tomorrow. Don't keep her waiting. As she hung up, the warmth of the moment with Marcus felt like a flickering candle against a gale. She looked at him, the unease evident on her face. I have to go back home. You have to go? His brow knitted in confusion. My mom. Her voice faltered. She's not doing well, and my dad wants me to visit. I'm sorry, Jenna. His concern was palpable. Is everything okay? I don't know. I just wish... The words hung in the air, heavy. In so many ways she had wished this moment would be when she finally left that world behind. This was supposed to be her fresh start. She wished she could go to her parents without feeling like she was stepping back into a cage. Maybe you can take what we've talked about and share it with them. I mean, it might inspire them. The idea sparked something in her. A possibility. Yeah, maybe I can show them how far I've come, she said, forcing a smile, though it didn't reach her eyes. But what if they don't understand? He studied her closely. What if they discourage you? Jenna bit her lip, her heart tilting. That's a risk I have to take, right? I can't hide from them forever. Marcus's fingers brushed hers, a gentle reminder of the fire they had started. Just remember, no matter what happens, you're not alone. Taking her hand gently, he squeezed it as if to guard the flame of her resolve. In that moment, Jenna felt a swell of gratitude. The weight of uncertainty and fear was still there, trying to claw its way back. But so was this new sense of courage they had begun to forge together. I'll be okay, she asserted, more to herself than to him. This is just a pit stop. I need to remind myself where I started, so I can keep moving forward. Marcus nodded, a spark of admiration glinting in his eyes. You've got this, Jenna. But as she stood there preparing for the ride back into her past, Doubt flickered through her thoughts. What would she find upon her return? Would she still carry the weight of her family's fears? As she gazed out into the dark street, she whispered, "I hope they're proud of what we're trying to do." Jenna felt Marcus's firm hand on her shoulder, grounding her. "If they see the light you've found, how could they not be?" She turned to him, an emotional whirlwind swirling inside. "And what if I lose that light?" "Then I'll be right there to help reignite it," he promised, his eyes steady and sure. As they stood together under the dim streetlight, Jenna's phone buzzed again. A text from her father. Just 3 words. "Be careful, Jenna." With a sense of apprehension settling in her stomach, she knew this was more than just a family visit. It was a confrontation with the very roots of her past, and the looming question of whether or not she could rise above it all. In that moment of hesitance, a thought flashed through her mind. What if returning home became the very catalyst she needed to dive deeper into her true self? The night felt thick with possibility, and for every shadow she faced, a single thought remained. The journey was only just beginning. Jenna stood in the dim light, her heart racing with a mix of dread and determination. She wanted to believe that this visit could be different. No more hiding, no more pretending. But as she climbed into her car, another wave of anxiety washed over her. What if this time it felt like a step backward? The drive felt endless. The roads wound through familiar neighborhoods, each turn sparking memories she had long tried to forget. She could feel them wrapping around her, her childhood, her past, squeezing her as tightly as her mother's hugs once had. With each mile, she remembered lessons received and words exchanged within those 4 walls that still echoed in her consciousness. "You're not good enough. You need to settle down. Why can't you just be normal?" As the familiar house came into view, an uneasy knot tightened in her stomach. The faded paint on the front door gave away the years. The lawn, once meticulously manicured, now appeared wild and unkept. It felt like a reflection of the family inside. Beautiful once, but lost over time. Jenna parked and took a moment, hands gripping the steering wheel tightly. She could go in and face them or turn around and escape into the night. But she dreamed too vigorously of her own life to let fear dictate her anymore. This was her chance to show them the woman she had become. Taking a deep breath, she stepped out of the car. The cool air reminded her of the life she was building, a life filled with purpose and passion. But as she walked up the path to the door, doubt crept in again like a shadow. Would they see the light? Jenna stood on the porch, raised her hand, and knocked. The sound echoed louder than she expected, reflecting her heartbeat. Almost immediately the door swung open, revealing her father, his expression a mix of relief and concern. "Jenna," he breathed, pulling her into a tight embrace. The scent of home enveloped her, igniting memories both cherished and painful. "Hey, Dad," she said, forcing a smile. "I've missed you." "Your mother is waiting," he said, stepping aside to let her in. She entered cautiously as if stepping into a dream filled with echoes of her past. Inside, the walls bore witness to years of laughter, arguments, and heartache. Her mother sat in the living room, wrapped in a blanket. A frail woman who bore the weight of her illness, just as Jenna bore the weight of her past. "Mom," Jenna whispered, afraid to shatter the delicate moment. Her mother looked up slowly, eyes filled with a mix of recognition and sorrow. "Jenna," she murmured, voice soft and shaky. "You're here." In that moment, Jenna felt the hold of the past start to dissolve, replaced by something new, a chance to reconnect, to bridge the gaps that had formed over the years. But just as Jenna began to feel a sense of hope, the tension shifted in the room. Her mother's brow furrowed, a knot of apprehension seizing her features. We need to talk about something," she said, her voice trembling slightly. "What is it?" Jenna asked, anxiety fluttering like a trapped bird within her. As her mother hesitated, Jenna exchanged glances with her father, who looked equally uneasy. The air in the room felt thick with something unspoken, a secret lurking just beneath the surface. Would this reveal change everything? Whatever this conversation was about, Jenna realized she was standing at the edge of something monumental. Her life could pivot on this moment, and then her mother finally broke the silence, eyes filled with unspoken words. "There's something you need to know about your family." Jenna's heart dropped. The past was about to collide with her present, and she wasn't sure if she was ready for the impact. Jenna could barely breathe. She felt her heart racing, pounding against her chest like a caged bird desperate for freedom. What could her mother possibly reveal? Every instinct in her urged her to turn and flee, but she forced herself to stay, to listen. "Mom, whatever it is, I'm ready," Jenna whispered, mustering courage she didn't know she had. Her mother shifted in her chair, taking a deep breath. "Jenna, you've always wanted to know why we didn't support your dreams, why we held you back. It's time you understood." Her voice cracked, and the emotion in the air seemed to pulse around them. "There are secrets in this family hidden for far too long." "What do you mean?" Jenna asked, her stomach twisting with fear and curiosity. "There was a time when I lost everything," her mother continued, eyes glistening with unshed tears. "Your father and we weren't always stable. We struggled, and I was terrified that if you pursued your passions, you might end up like us." The fear in her mother's eyes was palpable, and Jenna's heart softened. "But I thought you wanted what's best for me," Jenna replied, trying to piece it all together. "I thought protecting you meant keeping you close, but in doing so, I pushed you away. I held on to my fears like they were survival tools." Jenna's breath caught in her throat. It was as if the walls that had confined her all her life were beginning to crumble. "Mom, you didn't have to bear all that alone," she said. "I know, but I didn't know how to let go. I was caught in a cycle of fear and worry." Her mother's voice trembled, filled with vulnerability. "I was afraid of losing you the way I lost myself." "What happened to you? To us?" Jenna began, her voice shaking. "Doesn't have to repeat for me." She felt the faint stirrings of hope, a glimpse of a bridge being built, spanning the decades of misunderstanding that defined them. Her mother's gaze held hers, a moment of reckoning. "Jenna, if there's anything I can do to help you find joy, to support you fully, just say it. I want to change." Her sincerity broke through Jenna's defenses, breaking down the walls that had crystallized over the years. The conversation shifted as her father knelt beside them, taking Jenna's hands in his, looking directly into her eyes. "We're proud of you, Jenna. We fought hard to hold our family together, but that doesn't mean we don't want you to thrive. This choice to return home is a testament to your strength." "Dad, I'm scared," Jenna admitted, tears brimming. "It felt like a failure coming back. I've worked so hard to create a different life, yet here I am." "You're not failing, you're growing," her father assured, his thumb brushing over her knuckles. "You're building something bigger than us, something worthy of that community center we neglected to realize was vital. Your courage to return is what's keeping that light alive." Jenna felt the weight lift. It was the validation she needed, a confirmation that the love and ambition she held within her could transform both her and her family. As they sat together, surrounded by the bittersweet memories of the past, the present glimmered with possibility. "Mom, Dad," she said, regaining her strength. "You can't change the past, but we can build a better future together. I want to fight for the community center, and I want you both to join me." The silence that followed echoed around them. Jenna's heart raced with anticipation. Would they step forward? "I want that too, Jenna," her mother said, wiping away the first tear, the dam of fear finally breaking. "Let's dream together." Her father nodded, swallowing hard. "Count us in. We'll make this right." Jenna broke into a radiant smile, tears streaming down her cheeks. "Thank you." The moment felt transformative, as if the past was melting away to unveil a path forward, a chance for love to win over fear. The next day, armed with newfound support from her family, Jenna reached out to the people in Maplewood. The warmth of community wrapped around her, igniting a renewed purpose. They gathered, shared stories and laughter, and one by one, old wounds began to heal. Marcus joined them, his resolve shining brighter. Together they presented their vision, a bridge linking the past with a hopeful future. The investor meeting shifted, hearts softened, and awareness blossomed. Gradually, the tides turned in their favor, and the community center began to thrive again. Jenna felt alive, the vibrant threads of her life weaving together, family, love, and community, forming a tapestry of resilience. She turned towards the horizon, optimistic about what lay ahead. As she stood beside Marcus, both of them beaming with pride, Jenna felt a surge of gratitude as she whispered, "Our love, our dreams, they transformed everything." In that moment, she knew she couldn't change the past, but she had embraced it, transformed it, and woven it into something infinitely more powerful. As they walked hand in hand, ready to face whatever life threw at them, a feeling washed over her. This was just the beginning of a beautiful journey together, and for the first time in her life, Jenna knew she belonged. Now this is the moment to show your support. You need to subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. It truly makes a difference. Comment below with your reactions and feelings about this ending. Share this inspiring journey instantly with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Don't wait, not even one more second to share. Only true fans understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions. Let's keep this story alive.